some of the other people that are here, Ed Musanti from the, yeah, right, Chamber of Commerce, and some of the other people here that are representing the city are also around. I hope you get to meet them. The next speaker, however, played a really key role, and he was one of the original people to want to see this site developed with affordable and workforce housing. And I welcome Senator Bob Duff.
What a great day it is to finally stand here and to open formally 80 Fair Street. It was alluded to earlier, as a member of the Human Services Council, as a board member, it was a dream back in 2004 to redevelop this site for workforce affordable housing. And obviously we know that some things have happened in the meantime to get to this spot today. But really what started off as the mission for that agency to develop housing for people who live and work in the area has been met. And we are very excited about that. But I have to, I know there's been a lot of thank yous, but this has been a rather long and strange journey to get to this point. But there are those who really deserve a lot of thanks for getting us to this point today. Certainly want to thank those on the Human Services Council board, Elaine Anderson, who was CEO at the time. Also want to thank Paul Jones, who helped facilitate this when it looked like the Human Services Council was not going to be able to develop the property. Have to, of course, thank Paul and Carl Keener and David Waters, their attorney, for really having the patience to see this through. Many times we were in meetings with DECD and CHAFA where it just looked like this was a square peg in a round hole, and we weren't really sure whether or not this was ever going to come to fruition or not. We all knew this was the right thing, but we weren't sure that it was ever going to get to the point where we are today. So I want to thank Paul, specifically in Building and Land Technology, for stepping up to the plate. You know, they're working on this little small project in Stanford. I don't know if anybody's heard about it at all. But they never really took their eye off the ball for 80 Fair Street. When they could have gone on to bigger and better things themselves, they could have moved on. They stuck with it. And many times, you know, I know the Keeners they're not always out there showcasing all the things they do for the community, but there's a lot of times out there where they're helping out and they're not looking for that recognition. So thank you again, Building and Land Technology. I also have to thank CHAFA and Tim Bannon for his endless amount of patience, and I know he's going to be a great chief of staff for the new governor based on my relationships with him already at the Capitol. And thank you so much to the folks at CHAFA and DECD. We used some housing trust fund money too, didn't we? Did we? Not yet? Not, okay. Well, there's always the next project. There's always the next one. But I have to thank the folks at DECD because they were certainly instrumental in this as well. And of course, our mayor, Richard Moshe, who exerted a lot of political capital trying to get us here today. So I want to thank the mayor personally for all his work on this as well. And of course, the state delegation, on a bipartisan basis, is not a partisan issue, but on a bipartisan basis, we all came together to support this, along with Ed Musanti and others in this community as well. So as we all know, affordable housing is critical to the success of our community. It's critical to how Norwalk will grow and how Norwalk will be over the next 20 or 30 years. And as we know from our new tenants, they will have housing that has a better quality, has a better feel to it than maybe some of the other options that were out there. And maybe even, we have taken a few cars off of I-95 in the process. Because since we have great housing here, that means that people who are looking for housing that they can afford means that they don't have to go to Stratford or Shelton or Bridgeport or Trumbull or some other place and drive on those highways in the morning. So we are taking our responsibility very seriously about creating more affordable housing. We welcome the residents, we appreciate it, and we welcome everybody here today on this most exciting project. Thank you very much.